Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that Indonesia is a potential country in demographic side. We know based on www.bps.go.id, the poor citizen in September 2020 is 27 million people. So it brings impact for the future child of our generation on their education. We know government now has grant much of scholarship. For example, in the 31 article on our 1945 based constitution comment that education is a right for every citizen. Basic education is a compulsory that have to be obeyed by every citizen, and the country be compulsory to fund it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Muhammad FADHIL MARZUQ as the delegation of Senior School Number RAHA. Before I go to my argument, I will give some limitation and define some keywords on our motion today that scholarship should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. Scholarship is a financial support which be granted to each student through their education ladder. And financial necessity is a funding support that be required in process of education completion. This house is school in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give several branches why we should only be grant scholarship basic of financial necessity. The first, in point of view of underprivileged student. The problem of student in Indonesia not only financial but also about learning motivation and hope. As we know, financial and learning motivation is a chain mechanism. When the student birth from underprivileged family, not little the children neglect and lose or hope their future. Based on databox.kata.com, there are 157,000 from elementary school children to senior high school in 2020 stop their school, and 54% choose to work because nothing fun to continue their education ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a critical problem because a dropout generation will cause a poor chain. When they be grown, there is no qualified of job that they could occupy. Ladies and gentlemen, so can be the poor generation, the poor chain of our nation. So can be a poor chain of our nation, but by the existence of scholarship based on financial necessity, giving hope to them to be compete with the rich student. Ladies and gentlemen, in financial support student, the existence of scholarship is not needed for them in case they can pay the school fee. So can be a cross subsidy mechanism, which is so we as affirmative team can take this as a cross subsidy mechanism, which is the poor be funded by the rich family. If we force to do this system, the rich student will be more rich and the poor one will be worse. For example, at university, there is achievement scholarship in Indonesia. If the clever student with same brain capability but different in financial, the poor student can compare or compete to the rich one. So achievement scholarship will be less effective, ladies and gentlemen, because the rich student don't need scholarship anymore. It only be a budget burden of government. In social and economic point of view, if we only give scholarship to the underprivileged student based on financial necessity, it will burden the budget of education. So we can more focus the budget to give some opportunity of the children in order the quality of human resources achieved. Based on mojok.co, in the fact, achievement scholarship student in Indonesia be stereotype that have hedonism life and full of glamour, so indicate the subvention is not accurate. And also it reflects that there are much of cheat act that doing by individual to pass the achievement scholarship mechanism. Although they are from the financial support family, they are even not have ethic to do the cheat to get free and funded education. And besides that, there will be raised the corruption crime Act. Cause by giving extra money, they can pass the bureaucracy system to be achievement student. We know assessment scholarship is a prestige for a family. So we have to restructure and be more careful in financial ability selection, namely in our bureaucracy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will, based on my explanation and argumentation, I will emphasize three branches why we should agree with this motion that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. The first, in point of view of the underprivileged student. As we know, financial and learning motivation is a chain mechanism. When the student birth from underprivileged family, not little the children neglect and loss of hope of their future. And the second, the point of view of the financial supporting family. The existence of scholarship is not needed for them in case they can pay the school fees, so can be a cross-subsidy mechanism, which is the poor be funded by the rich family. And it will burden the budget of government in education side. And in social and the third, in social and economic point of view, if you only give scholarship to the underprivileged student based on financial necessity, it will burden the budget of education. So we can more focus the budget to give some opportunity of the children in order the quality of human resources achieved. And we know the gap, there is a gap of the process of the selection in achievement scholarship. For example, there is extra money which is indicated as corruption crime act, cause giving extra money they can pass the bureaucracy system to be an achievement student will be granted an scholarship, because we know the achievement scholarship is a prestige for a family. So we have to be careful and restructure the financial ability selection, namely in our bureaucracy. Ladies and gentlemen, as affirmative teams state that we totally agree with this motion that we should be grant the scholarship based on the financial necessity. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.